God. Good evening, CAN TV viewers. Thank you for tuning in to the Doty Report.
Good evening, CAN TV.
I'm sorry, cut that down. Good evening, CAN TV. Oh, I'm saying CAN TV. That's a habit. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in to the Doty Report on comprehensive health. My name is Yolanda Givens, and I am the host. You can see I'm getting familiar with this platform. This whole virtual thing is a challenge for me, but I promise you I am going to get it. This should be a great conversation. The organization Georgia Doty Comprehensive Health has been around for 20 plus years, serving the Chicago community, being a health advocate, bringing in resources, educating the community, and just being a very, very vital entity within Chicago. The organization is founded by Mr. Don Doty, and I'm sure he is watching. He has a passion for helping people, and he has worked very hard to continue a legacy that his mom, Georgia Doty, had began. So we're going to get started. This is going to be a good conversation, I'm sure, a very important conversation. Yeah, we know about the violence that is going on across the city of Chicago. And we know, I mean, for me, it is heartbreaking. Let me give you guys a disclaimer. I had dental work done yesterday, so let me apologize ahead of time for some of my speech, and you'll see my jaw is still swollen. Oral health is very important. But let's get to the topic. We're going to be talking about urban violence, and we're going to be talking about reinvesting in the community. And I have a great guest. I know at least one of them are on. Hopefully, the other is going to join us soon. For me, and now we're talking about personal. It saddens me to every single day hear about the violence in our community, hear about young people losing their lives, hear about these babies. The 1st of June, a very, very good friend of mine, one of my best friends, someone I consider my sister, she actually lost her only child, 24-year-old, to the streets of Chicago, to exactly what's going on. That, when you talk about hitting home, it definitely hit home. Then a few weeks after that, I'm driving down the streets of Chicago, and to my surprise, actually run into an incident of violence. I actually see people running out the house and a person with a gun shooting coming behind them. So needless to say, over the last 30 days, it is always personal, but it's been even more personal and very close up for me. So we want to talk about what's going on. We want to talk about what's being done. We want to talk about if there's some solutions, and even to try to get an understanding of it. I know I talked to someone that what surprises me is that I did this work. I was actually a part of a statewide initiative to reduce youth violence in the state of California, actually in the late 90s, early 2000, and very active, done some great work, definitely saw a difference. And so it kind of confuses me that some of what was going on then is still going on now. Um, LA's my city. I talked to Reverend Jones earlier today, and I want to tell the guest I'm about to bring on that I am definitely not a Chicagoan when it comes to the community. It is very new to me, but I am learning and I'm definitely being connected. But I do know about urban violence and about, it plaguing our community, specifically in the Black and Brown community. So let me stop yapping and bring on our guest, Mr. T.O. Hardiman. He is the executive director of Violence Interpreters. Is that correct? And it's funny because I went to interrupters. I went to the website and I heard the song. They call him Mr. Ceasefire. So I am going to begin by letting him tell us a little bit about him, and then we're going to start this conversation about this urban violence that's going on. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yes, an honor to be here on the Doty report dealing with health and everything that's going on here in our a good city of Chicago. Once again, T.O. Hardiman, president of Violence Interrupters Incorporated, and I'm also an adjunct professor. I teach in the field of restorative justice, criminal justice, understanding the history of gangs in Chicago, juvenile justice, and correction. So I've been working in the city of Chicago for quite some time now. I'm the former director of Ceasefire Illinois. That's the public health model that gets results when it comes down to reducing levels of gun violence here in Chicago at one time or another. And then also I ran for governor twice here in the state of Illinois. And back in 2014, we secured close to 30% of the state vote. And in 2018, it was a little harder because J.B. Pritzker spent $170 million, but I still ran for governor. We did pretty good. We got quite a few votes, and people really, really respected my campaign. So that's just a little bit about me there. That's my bio, a short bio of T.O. Mr. Ceasefire Hardiman, okay?
I love it. I think I was here too. I was here in 2014, and I do remember that. I actually remember that. So I'm going to ask a question, and the question is: we have a lot going on with the pandemic, with the situation with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. And so I want to start the conversation with asking you, what can we do and how can we do something to reduce this violence that's going on and what's going on in terms of this pandemic and everything else?
First and foremost, I would like to offer the best possible solution first. The only way you're really going to stop the killings in Chicago is in Baltimore, Philadelphia, throughout the United States. It's incumbent upon the Black man to unify, period. There will be no need for any programs or anything if the Black man decides to unify. I'm talking about big numbers of Black men taking care of the business, hitting the streets, not talking down to the young people, bringing them young people to the table, mediate all their conflicts, bring them to the table, of peace, and do the best you can to try to help heal the community. And once you reduce the levels of violence and all the threat levels in the community, then you start talking about bringing necessary resources to the table and meeting with the public officials, elected officials, letting them know now that we reduced the violence in our community, now you guys have got to put up or shut up. Now it's time for us to reach out for more jobs, reach out for more economic development opportunities. The list goes on and on. I also teach in the field of restorative justice. There's a major need for healing circles, restorative justice, restorative justice peace circles, and victim offender reconciliation processing and sessions. So, because hurt people hurt other people, and we have a whole lot of hurt people in Chicago right now. That's why you see the higher levels of gun violence, because when people are hurt, they think about revenge, they think about hurting somebody else. And most people are, if you have a scale from 1 to 10, an anger scale, most of the people that are involved in the gun violence, they're already on 10. So any slight infraction would cause them to cause bodily harm to somebody, by shooting them or hurting them in some kind of way. And the gun violence is not all gang related. It's all over the place right now.
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. So what is your organization doing to address some of what's going on?
Thank you for that question. Yes. My violence interrupters are doing pretty good, to believe it or not. We work over in the West Haven community on the west side of Chicago, from Western to Ashland, going east, and from Lake Street going north to Jackson to the south. We've gone 60 days without a shooting in the community in which we work in right now. I have a coexistence policy with the different cliques in the area. So if something comes up with them cliques where they might find themselves in a conflict, they call me first, and we go out there and mediate the conflict before it turns deadly. So we have a coexistence policy with the young brothers in that area right now. When all the looting and all the rioting took place, when George Floyd was murdered, and then a lot of the shootings took place on Memorial Day, 4th of July, we didn't have no shootings in our area. And I'm not saying that to try to get credit for everything. I'm just telling you all the truth. Our staff have mediated about 40 conflicts so far this year on the front end that could have turned deadly, but instead the brothers called us and we stepped up and we processed with them. And they decided not to kill nobody, and we mediated them 40 conflicts this year so far. So the violence interrupters are a specially trained unit of individuals, men and women, that know how to intercept whispers on the front end in order to stop killing, because killers don't talk. See, I'm one of the most honest people you would ever meet, and I'm straight up with the audience out there. See, killers don't talk. That's why the homicide clearance rate is only 14%, which means people get away with murder 86% of the time, okay? So killers don't talk, and people need to stop lying out here. You're not gonna stop no killing without some type of confrontation, all right? People playing games out here. The police, I'm not against the police, but the police have not been trained to stop killings on the front end. They have been trained to respond, all right? So you're not gonna stop a killing without some form of confrontation. Those young guys not just putting their guns down because you talk smooth to them. I'm not saying it has to be physical all the time, but you have to join their world and then bring them into your world. And I tell the people in the media all the time, when you interview somebody, if they cannot tell you the last time they stopped a killing, they need to be quiet, because people are dying out here, and we need to have honest people talking, on the news about what it's really going to take. And that's just my point of view. All right.
Okay, so I definitely understand, and I know what that is to get out and be amongst what's going on. And you said something I have been thinking about. I thought about it after I saw that shooting that I actually witnessed, and I still don't even know today if the guy who did the shooting has been apprehended or arrested or whatever the case may be. But I couldn't help but think, like, where did he go? Whose house is he in? Who's hiding him, and why? And why wherever he is, someone isn't, calling the police or letting them know that this is where he is. But I guess you mentioned it is no one wants to talk. So what can and cut from a different cloth, obviously, have a different connection with the young people or even the older people in the community. But what can just a regular single mom, so to speak, just trying to work and go home, seeing what's happening in her community, like, what can she do? What can a regular person do to try to help reduce some of what's going on, or at least just let the community know that it's not acceptable, we're not going to tolerate it, and that we care about our young people?
Well, first and foremost, a single mother, the best thing a single mother can do is do the best to raise her kids, because it takes a whole lot of work to get involved in the community to try to stop what's going on out there. And the women need to be protected and respected. Right now, I definitely want to work with the women. I just want to make that clear. But right now, the men have got to step up. We need silverback gorilla men. We need intellectual warriors. We need spiritual warriors. We need business warriors, all types of personalities to hit the neighborhood. And once the men help them young brothers out, then we turn them over to the women. That's what needs to happen right now. See, what's going on is that now George Floyd, for example, if I was up in Minneapolis, which I was not there, of course, my constitution as a man would not have allowed me to allow that police officer to kill that man. I'm not advocating no type of violence, but I would have done my best to help George Floyd breathe. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that where it's at, because I couldn't watch that and just sit back and watch it. I'm too hyped up. There's no way, but this the thing. The same type of, the same type of reaction needs to take place in Chicago when these babies are being killed. Everybody and their mothers were out there marching and rioting. I'm not saying march down on the young guys. I'm saying go out there and extend the olive branch of peace. and get them young guys in basements, get them all over the city, working out their conflicts on the front end. Find out what's really going on. Find out, I mean, how many people have been killed on this side and that side, and then try to make sense of it and say, okay, everybody didn't kill somebody. What we gonna do? Keep it just going forever? So you got to, it's a certain way you got to get down with these brothers out here. You got to join their world, then bring them into your world, and then you can kind of work it out a little bit for those who understand where where I'm coming from. All right. So that's my take based on my personal experience, and I always have a good relationship. You put it like this: I've had times when some brothers did not want to listen. Then you have to go get guys they would listen to. So if you know the streets of Chicago, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, the women play a valuable role, but I would like for the women right now to do their best to raise their kids, because that's a lot of work in itself. Keeping your kids out of the war zone, so to speak, because even if you live in a community and you're doing the best you can with your kids, they still can get caught up because you have a war zone going on out there.
Right. Absolutely. You are, this is the Doty report on comprehensive health. We are talking about urban violence and the violence that's going on in the city of Chicago. If you are watching, if you are on my Facebook Live, and we have Mr. T.O. Hardiman, if you have any questions, any thoughts you want to share, you put them in the comment section. I will do my best to try to read and get that information out, because we want it to be a conversation. We want someone with his passion and expertise to possibly shed some light that some of us just may not be understanding, if he's able to do that. So in talking about getting involved in the men, and you seem to have a great organization. Are there enough organizations that are doing work similar to yours that it could be helpful? Is mentoring programs going to make a difference? If is after school programs going to make a difference? I know people always talk about they're out in, the young men are out in the street because they can't find a job. Is all of that a part of what's going on?
Oh yeah, well, it's two ways to look at it. Of course, a lot of young men cannot find jobs, but put it like this: I have to use my own personal experience here. I have a son who's 21 years old, T.O. Jr. I had to basically he was trying to play the game, didn't want to work and all that kind of stuff. I gave him some job leads and all that. He's working a job now, but it took a minute because he wanted to play the game, like he wanted to run around and act like everything is funny. So as his father, I had to practice what I preach. I had to kind of I'm not going to get into everything here speaking to you, but the thing is that he's working. I have two other sons. All my kids are working jobs, okay? The thing is, you have jobs out there, people have to apply themselves. Some people do not want to work. I'm telling you the truth here. Everybody keeps bringing up the job equation. Yes, I do agree that more jobs should be around, but I know one thing. I look in the internet all the time, and I find jobs all over the universe, especially with this pandemic going on. COVID-19, you have so many employers that want to hire people just like now. I'm receiving calls from warehouses now asking me, do you have anybody you can send out here to work? And a lot of guys don't want to work, and it's sad, and that's a reality. But don't get me wrong, I wish more guys would go to work, but there are jobs out there. In other words, they may not be the jobs they want to work, but you do have jobs out there. Okay.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. There are jobs out there. So I want our second guest is ready. I have been told. I want to bring on Reverend Walter Jones Jr. He is the executive director of Fathers Who Care and the West Garfield Park community stakeholders. I think it's a coalition or a collaboration. So welcome, Mr. Jones, Reverend Jones. Are you there? He's trying to be there. Let's give him a second. As we're waiting on him, again, this is the Doty Report, and we are talking about urban violence, and we're going to talk a little bit about how we reinvest in our community. We've already begun. T.O. has already shared with some of the things that his organization is doing, what he is doing personally, and we hope to talk a little bit more about what we all could possibly do, and if any of it would make a difference. You know, how can we're always talking about how can we make a difference. So as we're waiting on him, someone, I had a conversation with someone, and I know oftentimes we talk about getting the guns off the street, or they're having access to these guns. Is Chicago getting the guns off the street, and does that really matter? Or is it the guns being on the street, or is it just the people?
Well, I've done a lot of research with the gun dilemma or the gun conversation. The bottom line is that people pull the trigger. The gun is what you might say a weapon of convenience. People
Right.
get into conflict. The gun can catch up with you. The bullet travels faster than the speed of light, in other words. So if you get into a situation, you pop that gun, two or three things happen in the community. You kill somebody, you establish a reputation as a no-nonsense individual, and people the gun is the favorite weapon of choice. The illegal gun trafficking needs to be stopped. The ATF on the federal level are not doing the best job possible when it comes down to intercepting the illegal gun trafficking here in Chicago, Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York, St. Louis, Memphis, you name it, Jackson, Mississippi, LA. So this is going on across the entire United States. So the gun question or the gun argument, like you can pass stricter laws, like in New York City. They had a mandatory minimum. You get caught with a gun in New York, you going to jail 3 years. It doesn't matter if it's your first offense or whatever. You going to jail for 3 years, all right? And we have to work harder to intercept the illegal gun trafficking for real. These young guys have sophisticated weapons now. Some of them have semi-automatics. They have, they have an arsenal, man, of weapons that we never even heard of. They have laser beam rifles and stuff, It's kind of crazy, all righty? It's crazy as it could be, but these are our people. We have to make sense of this crazy stuff. That's why I say you need some silverback gorilla men. And I'm not saying that in a negative sense. I'm just giving you a vision of you need some strong brothers physically, mentally, intellectually, spiritually, and on the business level to go out there and reach these brothers. And because when you go into the belly of the beast, some of these brothers might raise up at you. They may raise up and say you don't know what you're talking about. And if you don't have no backbone, yeah, all right, brother, all right, I'm a back on up. You got to take it to the people. If you really want to stop killing, it's like being a surgeon. You want to take cancer out somebody's body. You got to cut their body open. I'm not talking about literally. But the point I'm trying to make, you got to get into the minds of them young brothers. Say, look, we're not here to talk down on you. We're not here to harm you. But we're here to make peace in the neighborhood, man. How does that sound to you? You see what I'm saying? And we stay in their face for about a whole week or two with the same message coming from their family members. Not just us, their family members, their friends, everybody in their face. Bam, this is what we need to do, bro. We're not against you. Okay? And if we can't get through to them, that's when they may need some high level help. Okay? And what I mean by high level help, that's when everybody else kick in. We've done the best we can do then.
Right, absolutely. Okay. So Reverend Jones is ready. So again, I want to welcome Reverend Walter Jones Jr. He is the executive director of Fathers Who Care and the West Garfield Park Community Stakeholders. Welcome, Reverend Jones. How are you?
That's my man, Reverend Jones. Good brother.
Muted. Y'all muted me.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
T.O.
Yeah, I can hear you, brother. Can you hear me? Hello?
I know that it seemed to be a problem trying to get in this thing. I've been trying since. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, I'm back.
Hello?
I don't know what happened. Reverend Jones came on and kicked me off. Reverend Jones, can you hear me?
Reverend Jones.
Can you hear me?
Yolanda, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Hello?
You can't. Yes. Can you hear me? T, you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it appears to be a lot of static coming through for some reason.
I don't hear any static.
Hello?
Yes.
Well, everything appears to be open on this end, but I just can't get in for.
We see you.
I can hear you. I can hear both of you all, but I guess.
We can hear you. We can hear
Pardon
you.
me.
I said we can hear you.
Hello. Okay, but I can't. I can't hear you all. You all are real stat. It's a lot of static coming from you guys.
I don't know why. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I'm not sure why, Reverend. We did pretty good a few minutes ago. We didn't have no static.
Right. So while we are, I want to give
I
him
can hear.
opportunity. I want to. So if you can hear me, let's give it a shot. I want to give you an opportunity to give us a snippet of who you are, so the viewers
Hello.
will know about you and your organization. You can't hear me. I'm not sure what's going on. While we're giving him a minute, T.O., I want to ask you, and you said a lot already, and I don't want to be redundant in asking the question, but I know that one of the things in conversations with people that we're not really understanding. Years ago, when I think about myself in the late 80s in high school, and there were in LA, there were drive-by shootings, and the gang situations was going on. But I thought really hard. Never do I recall a child being caught in the crossfire or being murdered. It seems like it was, and not that it was okay then to kill anyone, but it seems like then, the victims were engaged in such activities. If that's, I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but I thought really hard, tried to think really hard. Do I ever remember, when I heard of a drive-by shooting or a gang-related shooting, and I never. I had a conversation. We were saying, what's going on with, why are so many children, babies, being caught in the mix of what's going on? Just your thoughts about that.
But no, you got a certain segment of our population, once again. You got some psychopaths out there. You got some ignorant people out there, and I have to use that word, that just don't give a damn. Anything goes. They are hurt. People have hurt them, so they hurting everybody else. Some of the people shooting kids and shooting women out here, they probably feel, look here, nobody understands their cause. Some of these people have given up on life itself. And that's what's going on right now. Some of them high on they dropping pills,
Yeah.
they're on drugs, they're not thinking. There's no excuse for them, because I see people making excuses for them, saying, well, no, the kid wasn't the intended target. Anytime you shoot at somebody with a kid in the car, the kid is the intended target, because you
Right.
shouldn't be shooting around kids, no matter how you try to preach about this. I watched a video out of Brooklyn, New York, a man walking down the street with his little baby daughter, and somebody ride by and blow his brains out right in front of his daughter, okay? And they aim. Yeah. So can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
So yeah, that's what's going on. Anything goes with a certain segment of our population. That's why I say to men, just imagine if you saw 10,000 black men walking down the street and going on every corner, engaging them young brothers in a positive way. Imagine how that would look. Okay. You got guys that talk the way I talk. You got guys that talk on an intellectual level, every level. Say, look here, man, if you got a beef with my man across the street or around the corner, we going to get him right now. We going to sit y'all down right now. Y'all going to talk about this, whether you want to do it or not. Let's do this here. Give us that opportunity as a man to work. If we can't work it out, do what you need to do then. If you think you need to go out there and hurt somebody because you got a misunderstanding or something else happened, do what you need to do, but let us try to work it out first. And nobody even come to them like that, okay? See, the thing is, it's a hardcore approach, but it's necessary. And then you calm it all down. Cooler heads prevail. My man, thank you for coming. You know, now you can see that you guys don't have as much, you know, like of an issue that you thought you had, because we got it all on the table. And now you brothers embrace. Now you brothers embrace, and you tell all your other guys that's been squashed. It's been squashed, bro. The men squashed it. That's how you do that. But it has to be a direct approach like that first. And then when you win the people over, then you help them move on to the higher level, in other words. All right?
Right, right. Yeah. It's really getting out there and being able to reach them in a way that they can understand. I definitely agree with that. When I did the work, that's definitely how we did it. We hit the streets and we had to make the connection. It's really only the way that you can do it. So let's talk about, and I really wanted Reverend Jones, because he wanted to really touch upon, and I'm sure that you can add some insight on it. One of the questions he talked about was, how should we reinvest in our communities in lieu of the current policies?
Well, that's a question, you know, with the elected officials, having a conversation with them, and a conversation that makes sense as well. You know, I drive down 79th and Damon on the south side, all the way to 79th and South Shore. I counted over 1,000 abandoned storefronts. Same on the west side, Madison and Pulaski. The beat goes on and on, 16th and Lawndale, Chicago Avenue in Austin, Chicago Avenue in Division. You know, it's all over the place, all right? Far East, all everywhere. So, you know, the bottom line is that people have been talking about economic development for some time now, but it seems like the money is not trickling down to the community on a higher level. That's where a big problem comes in at, you know, in my opinion, all right? Because I don't see it really happening, and it's sad. It's really sad, but maybe Reverend Jones might want to weigh in on that one there.
Right, right. Reverend Jones, can you hear us now? We keep losing him.
Yeah, we keep losing the Reverend.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. So, but just to add to it, though, economic development is very important. But I see a lot of elected officials having press conferences, telling they're going to build some stores here and they're going to do this and that. But you know, no matter what happens, the gun violence continues to take place out here. I was interviewing with one of the Fox News, and I said, look, asteroid, whatever they call it, could hit the Earth. They can say an asteroid is about to hit the Earth in 30 minutes from now. You think that's going to stop a guy from going out to try to kill somebody that he wants to kill? No way. They're going to still try to go kill that individual, because it's in there. Some people get locked and loaded in this psychotic mindset, man. And it's like, it's something else. But, you know, you need a particular skill set to work with psychotic people. You know, you need to it's important that you understand your people. Everybody cannot do what I'm talking about. It's a certain skill set. God anointed me with a skill set. I grew up around killers. I grew up around gang members. I grew up around congressmen too, doctors and lawyers. It wasn't just killers. I grew up in the projects, but I'm just saying I grew up around some of the toughest guys, and I have a relationship with people. Okay, and I don't talk down to nobody. I may be talking this way. This is not about being a tough guy. I'm just an energetic guy, but I got backbone, okay? And so I know how to meet my people where they are and bring them to a higher level of understanding. That's all. Sometimes people, all they need is somebody like a father figure, uncle figure that can get in their ear and cuss them out. And cuss them out. You know, one-on-one. I ain't talking about in front of nobody. Say, man, you know what you're thinking about doing is dead wrong. You know, your mother's sick. She's on an oxygen machine. You got 3 babies you're not doing nothing for. Your girl about to leave you, man, because you ain't taking care of your business. And now you want to go kill somebody, go to the penitentiary looking crazy. Who going to take care of your mama? Right. they need to hear it like that sometimes. Okay? Right. And that's not talking down to them. That's just being realistic and painting a picture that's close to home with them. See, that picture I just painted is something that's happening with them right now. Okay? In their households. I've mediated many conflicts talking like that before, because I do my research on the individuals that I mediate with, and I found out everything else is going on in their family life and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. You have to know everything You have
Right.
to definitely know what's going on inside the home. I do some work in the Chicago Public Schools, and we talk about the students and some of their behaviors, and you have to really know what's going on in the home
Mhm.
to really be able to reach them and
Right.
support them the way they need to be supported. It's very, very
Right.
important.
That's what I'm
It is.
talking about.
Yeah. So how can someone get involved or volunteer with your organization?
Well, they can visit my website, violenceinterrupters.org. There's a volunteer form you can fill out, and then the email will come to me, and then I will respond. I'll get one of my staff to respond, and I can let them know how they can get involved, depending on what they would like to do. I
Okay.
organize peace circles in the community. We organize healing circles, victim offender reconciliation sessions. We organize a few actual peace summits sometimes, peace summits, okay? So it's a lot to do if people are interested. So reach out to me, violenceinterrupters.org.
Okay. That's good. That's good to know. Um, well, I'm hoping we get Reverend Jones back. Reverend Jones, can you hear us? We can
Yes, I
see
can hear you,
you.
but I'm listening to you on the phone because there appears to be a problem with this link or something since
Okay.
7:20.
Okay. But I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We have but about 15, 20 minutes. So I definitely want to give you the opportunity to address this topic. And first, do you want to give us a snippet about so the viewers will know who you are? And about your organization, and then I'm going to pose some of the same questions to you that I did with Tio. Did you hear
Well,
me?
I just encourage who are listening and watching your show. They can go on to fatherswhocare.org and they will give them a complete overview of Fathers Who Care, history of Fathers Who Care, Fathers Who Care.
So that's fatherswhocare.org.
Yolanda?
Yes, I'm still here. I'm not sure why your connection is not well. Can you hear me? I don't know what's going
I
on.
don't know. I've been for some reason it's been giving me the giving just in elements, you know.
I don't know. Maybe it's the location, possibly. Um, so
On the phone though.
so maybe we'll get them back to you.
Okay.
How would you say the current situation as it relates to all the shootings? How is it affecting the community as it relates to the health of the community?
Oh yeah, it's having a major impact on people's mental health. People are scared. People don't want to leave their houses. People are scared for their children. The list goes on and on. I've worked with a lot of ladies that have lost their sons or daughters to gun violence, and some of the stories are really like so heart wrenching that it really blows your mind. I know a young lady named Royce. She lost her daughter in Englewood. Somebody shot her daughter in the head 2 or 3 years ago, and the reason I'm mentioning her story because it plays in my mind all the time. And Royce, we would go to conferences out of town and speak about the gun violence. And her mother, Royce, could not even hardly stand up half of the time.
Mm,
Right. She could hardly stand up. She eventually passed away of a broken heart. She died
wow.
about a year ago of a broken heart. Yes, she did. And
Oh,
and a lot of these mothers, people think the families are healing, but they're not healing like people think they are. They have to look at the baby pictures of their children and their loved ones for the rest of their lives. You would think your kids would outlive you. You know what I mean? I mean, you would think that your kids would put it like this. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. The kids supposed to live. We supposed to be gone before our kids. In other words, that's what I'm
right.
trying to get at. But the
Right.
point is, it's really, really sad. And like I say, I just was on Fox News with a young lady. Her 15-year-old son was killed, and she done lost about 60 pounds behind it now. She looks like a little bitty, skinny lady, and she wasn't all that big in the first place, but the little weight she had, she lost all of that. And she still goes and fixes up his room like he's still alive, and she goes to the cemetery every Saturday to pay tribute to her son. So the backstories is what people don't hear. This is what you call backstory. Okay. And I saw a brother in an interview out of New Orleans earlier today. His 9-year-old son was shot in the head, and the man couldn't even hardly talk. I mean, the toll, the mental health toll is unbelievable. And then it turns other people become psychotic, you know. And last thing I'm gonna tell you, I was watching, I need to stop watching this stuff, really. I was watching Fatal Attraction, and these two brothers, African-American guys, they buried a young African-American girl, 22 years old. They buried her alive. And the judge asked the guys, how you know she was alive? And they said, well, she was looking at me in my eyes. And you know, I ain't gonna lie to you what went through my mind, cause you know, my mind come and go. I'm one of the brothers, I say I'm a straight up brother for you here. Man, I didn't like that. I still don't like that. I don't care what nobody say. One of the brothers got life in prison. The other brother got 20 years because he cooperated and showed them where the body was. But I got my own mind about that. I won't share it here, but it messed me up. Right. I'm not gonna lie, it messed me up. They buried that girl alive, you know.
Wow, yeah, I chuckle about it, but part of me is very serious because I always say part of what's wrong is that our kids don't go to Sunday school. They don't, you know, that there's no foundation, there's no belief in any higher power. You know, nobody understand consequence, and there's just a lack of caring for life. It's a caring for life. And even me going through conceal and carry class, and I'm like, how can someone just take a gun and use it so loosely? You know, I struggle with even understanding that part of it, but a lot of it is what's going on in their household and in their lives, and no structure, and no one that really cares, and no one giving them guidance. And I'm really hoping that Reverend Jones is with us now. Are you with us, Reverend Jones? He's trying.
He's trying.
He's trying so hard.
Problem.
That's right. Yes, indeed.
We definitely gonna have to hear you guys back on here. So anything coming up for your organization? Any I know we're kind of still staying home and we're dealing with that. Is there anything coming up that you would like to share?
Oh no, I'm in the process of organizing a peace summit on the west side of Chicago. It's just with this pandemic, the restrictions, you can only have so many people there, so we may have to do a social distance peace summit with a lot of the brothers. I think you can have 50 people at one time, but I plan to do my best to have around 100 people in different rooms, though, you know, because I don't want to get caught up in no, you know, breaking no laws or whatever. But it's necessary, and I'm not even gonna say gang summit. I'm saying peace summit, because I want to bring the brothers to the table of peace, and I don't want to identify brothers as gang members anymore. You know, I think they are little brothers, okay, and we got to find a way to reach them all the way. And you know, the black man has lost his way with a certain segment of our population. I put that on the black man. I ain't putting that on nobody else. I'm not putting it on the black woman. I'm putting it on the black man, because that's on us. You know, the Italian community is not messed up like ours. I mean, they had the issues back during Prohibition, the Italian gangsters, you know, the Al Capones, and they didn't kill women and kids back then. The Latinos in Chicago not kill each other like they used to. You know, you got 17% of the killings in Chicago occur in the Latino community, but 78% occur in the black community. So, you know, it's to me, I'm putting it all on the black man. You know, people can get mad at me and all they want to. They can talk about the root causes. They can talk about, you know, then don't get me wrong. We had outside influences. We had the illegal drug trade. We have illegal gun trafficking, you know, discrimination, racism, poverty, all of that. But I'll tell you something. I've traveled abroad. I've been to Africa, okay? I've been to some countries. I've been to some Haiti, poor countries where it's really poor. You think you poor in America, you ain't got nothing on Haiti poor. Haiti poor is dirt poor. Johannesburg, South Africa poor is dirt poor. So my thing is, look, we better just, in other words, and I'm fighting for reparations as well, but in other words, we should be thankful for what we have here, because it could be a lot worse, okay? I saw a guy the other day from a video, he had no hands, and he was digging a hole by placing a shovel under his neck and under his, up under his neck and by his chin, and he got the job done. He got the job done with no hands, okay? So what I'm saying to all the people out there watching or listening, Let's do the best we can and take care of the business. And if everything fails, then you reach out. But do what you need to do right now. Take care of your business and uplift your people. Stop waiting on somebody to give you a handout.
Man.
You got to stop that. You got to stop it.
Right.
Start where you are. I had to start where I was at.
Right.
I had to stop where I was at. I was 14, 15, 16. I was in the projects, drinking wine, you know, back then, smoking marijuana, doing some everything under the sun. And next thing you know, but you know, I tell you one thing. My grandmother and grandfather instilled a work ethic in me even back then. I was working day labor. Okay. I went to work, then I ran the streets. Then my mother kicked in and instilled a work ethic in me. So that's the reason why I can talk this way. But yeah, I've had my bouts and my battles. Okay. I know how it is to be involved in a little violence every now and then back when I was younger, you know, because it wasn't easy growing up. People would step to you and you got to, you know, you got to stand your ground. But we weren't just killing each other back then just to kill people. You know, it's like we get into a fight and you stand your ground, you good. You know, nobody wants to lose a fight. See, that's what's happening now. People scared. You know, I won some fights, I lost a couple. It's all good as long as I fight.
Absolutely.
You know
right. I mean? Right. As long as you fall back. Right. And talking about this, I have to just ask you a question, because I often talk about this whole Black Lives Matter, because of course we know the emphasis is on that as relates to the minorities and police, but then we hear people say, well, if Black lives don't matter to us, then do they really matter? What are your thoughts on that?
One thing I can tell you, it's a lot of perceptions out there about Black Lives Matter. My thing is, I just wish they would put a lot of more energy into helping us out in the community as well. You know, because they stand up against the police abuse and racism, all that's fine. But right now we got a major elephant in the room, so to speak. And that elephant, like you come home and see an elephant in your front room and everybody walk to the back of the house like the elephant doesn't exist. The elephant in the room is, how do we stop the killing in our community? And I believe Black Lives Matter can play a valuable role. But see, this is the thing too. See, it's easier or more comfortable addressing police killings because you exercising your First Amendment right. And there's no real, you know, it's a lot of glory in that. Okay. Then a lot of celebrities, all of a sudden, they donate millions and millions of dollars to victims of police brutality or excessive force, which is good. But what about the celebrities donating to some of these families that their 1-year-old kid was killed or their 3-year-old kid was killed? Why don't we have the same level of passion and energy in them situations? So I'm glad you asked that question, because I'm in the process of partnering with Black Lives Matter of Lake County, Illinois, to form a partnership with Violence Interrupters to address the gun violence in our community. So it's a work in progress, but a lot of people, and then plus it appears that the Black Lives Matter movement has been compromised a little bit with these, what you call it, the Marxists and the communist socialists and all that kind of stuff. Nobody wants to talk about it, but everybody wants to hijack the Black Power movement to further their personal agendas. And when you talk about it, people get upset with you. But look here, I am who I am. I'm not running around waiting on nobody to stand behind me or somebody to have my back. God has my back. I'm a grown man. A man can only die one time. As far as I know, I ain't never seen nobody come back. And I ain't trying to die, but a coward would die 1,000 lives, okay? 1,000 lives. That's what a coward dies. You know, that's why I say a lot of people, they say, if I coulda, woulda. No, I'm doing it. I'm not going to wait till if I coulda, woulda. Let me say this quickly to you. I was on the airplane. I'll never forget this. This is after 9/11. And they had a law that the pilots were supposed to close the cabin so nobody can get up there, right? I saw a guy from Syria talking to the stewardess, and the pilot still had the door open when they took off, right? And I didn't wait. I got up. The Syrian guy was in first class. I was in the middle of the middle class, whatever the hell they call it. I got up and I went up there. They say, man, you're supposed to, I'm not sitting down. I mean, there's a law that the pilot cabin is supposed to be closed. And all I'm saying, man, I don't know you. I ain't got nothing against you, but you're supposed to be sitting down. What's going on? And I got out on the airplane. They was looking at me like I was crazy. But when I went back, everybody say, my man, don't wait on me. I was about to cuss. Don't wait on me. Do what you need to do. You understand me? Because I'm not going to sit up here and be waiting around and end up all messed up because I didn't get up when God told me to get up and do something.
Right.
Okay?
I'm with you. I'm definitely with you. This is the Doty Report on Comprehensive Health. We've been talking to Mr. T.O. Hardiman, talking about the violence across the city of Chicago. and how we can get involved, and is there any hope in trying to reinvest in the community. We unfortunately was not able to get Reverend Walter Jones on this show, but we'll definitely have him back. I Why is this important to this organization? Because urban violence is a public health issue. It is definitely plays a role in the health of our communities, and we all need to have a role and do something, get involved, even if it is, you talked about, even if it is with our own children and with our own family, and just really trying to address them would make a huge difference. And Reverend Jones is back. Let me see if he's really back. Uh, this time, Reverend Jones, you there? Man, I want to give him. He needs to get A for effort for real.
That's right. He's crying. He's
Absolutely. I know he is passionate about this topic, and this was just hoping we can at least get a little bit from him. Can you hear me, Reverend Jones? Oh, he just ain't there. I don't know. So, Tio, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. I want to thank you for the great work that you're doing. I want to thank you for your realness. I get it. I'm a mom. I'm a female. I know you talked about the men, but I'm
Yeah.
with you. You got to be out there. You got to be able to understand. And the incident that I saw a few weeks ago, when I said a guy came out shooting, of course I left the scene at the moment, and a friend of mine, she was like, "Don't go back, don't go back." But my heart would not let me not go back. I
Mhm.
had to go back and see what was going on, if I could be of an assistance, and just in my own mind, like, did I really just see what I thought I saw? But I'm that person too, to get down in the streets, and you got to be able to pull them in and reach them. So we are really at the end of the show, but I always like to give the guests for an opportunity, just like, what is your final words? What's the final thing that you would say to someone that's listening, someone that may have lost someone to this violence, someone that want to maybe get involved? Hey, maybe we even got a politician out there that's listening tonight. What final words will you share with those that are watching?
But first and foremost, I want to thank you all for allowing me to appear on your show tonight. My final words would be really a message of inspiration. Basically, if you ever fall down in life, it's your duty to get right back up, because if you stay down too long, you may not find the energy to get back up. So that's from my self experience. I've been up and down in my life, and I want to just empower people and inspire people to be the best that you can become. The politicians are still scrambling right now. That's why I don't have no advice for the politicians, because it's bigger than just funding. There's a
Hmm.
lot of money being spent, $1.2 billion police budget, a lot of programs receiving millions of dollars, but we still have an increase in gun violence. So I don't have no advice for the politician. But I know one thing: just because a person is a politician doesn't mean they're an expert in dealing with reducing gun violence. They need to stay in their lane.
Hmm.
You have to hire the right people to deal with reducing gun violence. That's your job, to seek out the right experts in that field, instead of playing political games and politics. These are people's lives that have been taken. These are not just numbers. They need to stop using numbers for the people. Black death has become an all-time hustle. Black death is a hustle. Everybody's making big money off Black death. Trust and believe me, sister. They're making big money off the killings in our community, each
Hmm.
and every day, each and every day. All right. So I don't
Hmm.
have no advice for nobody other than my people and God. Well, God gives me advice. I ain't got no advice for God. You know, I don't want to talk too fast, but that's it for me. All right.
Right. And that is great advice. And you didn't have any advice for the politicians, but you gave some really good ones. So again, thank you so much. I'm gonna hold on to those words too and share. If you fall down, you gotta get back up.
Yeah.
It's just no excuse for staying down. It's really not. And there are resources, and there are available, and there are people out there that do care, and some of it do lie on you as an individual to reach out, you know, as well as for us to reach back. So, again, this has been the Doty Report on Comprehensive Health. We have had a good chat. He shared a whole lot about the violence that's going on in the community and what his organization is doing. And I want to thank you. I thank you so much, and hopefully we'll bring you back with Reverend Jones
Okay.
the time, because we know that this conversation needs to continue. I had to even switch. I had wanted to give folks the opportunity to ask questions, and I had to switch because I was trying to get the whatever
Okay.
was going on with him, trying to help him get connected. So next time we definitely would want to have people to be able to, type in some comments and some questions, and allow us to be able to answer and respond to. Again, I want to thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We will be back 2 weeks from now on Tuesday. The Doty Report is every 2 weeks, same day of the week, Tuesday at 7:30. We will be back having another conversation with some great guests. I want to thank everyone that viewed. And just want to encourage us all to, like you said, fall down and get up and reach forward and backwards to try to help somebody. Thank you. I am Yolanda Gibbons, and I have been your host. And I want to I pray that everyone have a safe rest of the week and a safe weekend. Thank you so much. Peace out. Thank you. Have a
All
good
right.
one, guys.
Thank you. Okay.